You have just tapped into the Christian Life Coach Collective, and I'm your host, Laura Malone. I'm here to equip and encourage coaches in skills, business, personal life, and faith. I believe you're already 100% worthy and capable, and you're called for such a time as this. So let's get you walking it out with courage and confidence so you can be an amazing coach who sees transformation and great results in both your life and the lives around you. Let's get started. Hey there, friends. I'm wanting to jump into some myth busting because with my clients, I hear a lot of things that they say that really can be related and rooted back to something that is either I think the nice way to call it is a myth, or it's really just a lie that we're believing. And I want to help bring facts to light versus myths and truths versus the lies. So we're actually going to go through a series of the top myths and lies that life coaches often believe. And these things they can just hold you back from your success. They can limit the amount of impact that you have on your life, your business, your calling, and your clients. And I also think it's something that will hold you back from the legacy you want to create and doing the thing that you want to do. The solid reason why you want to do it is really minimized and constrained when there are myths and lies operating, at the very least, under the surface. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is this myth. I need to have everything in my life figured out to be a great coach, or to get hired as a coach, or to have permission to speak. It's this belief that you need to be the perfect example of success before you have any permission to help other people. But the reality to this is that coaching is about guiding other people to find their own solutions, not about you being flawless. Like it's a space that you hold. It's a session. It's an appointment that someone else says, I want myself to have a time and a space to talk about the things that are on my heart, right? So they are scheduling an appointment with you so that you can say, right now, we're talking about you. And then the coach will ask you questions and pull things out of you and guide you down a path. That's what the goal of the client is, right? It's to be able to come to a session and know that the time and the space is being held for them. That's what you would want as a client. And like my clients, they come, whether if we're doing life coaching, then we're talking about things like the mindset and the lies they're believing and the goals that they have for their family and their heart, their calling. And then if we're doing business coaching, we're talking about, I have vision to build my business out like this, and I want to help people in this way, and I want to bring beauty into the world through this avenue. Like, people have goals and they want time and space to be held for them, and that's what I offer. Time and space to talk about just you and what's in your heart, what's in your mind, what do you want to do, what do you want to create, how do you want to transform. I do not have my life perfectly together. I am not disqualified, and I know that now. I'm saying this myth because I have believed it, but now I think that every time I work with a coach who says, I don't know how I can help women start the weight loss journey if I haven't lost all of the weight that I want to lose, or I fluctuate, or I lost it, but I put some back on. I watch them work through this process in their own mind of judging where they are at and disqualifying themselves, this cycle of self-sabotage. when I watch that happen, it impacts me because I have to say, where is that happening in my life? Where does my soul go when I am disqualifying myself and saying, well, you don't have a multi-million-dollar coaching practice. Who are you to tell people they could make money doing this thing? My goal isn't to have a multi-million-dollar coaching business at this point, but do I have the most perfect business? I don't. I'm still in process. But I have recognized that my ability to speak from being in process is much more attractive to the people I work with than if I did have a multi-million-dollar coaching business. Even if I had a $300,000 a year coaching business. I don't have that. But if I wanted that, I would still be in process towards it, and I would still be talking to you in episode 288, a couple of years into doing a podcast. Like, I would still be in process towards that if that was my goal. My ability to speak to you from the place I'm at is what a lot of people say makes them want to listen to the podcast or makes them want to work with me, is because I identify with the problems, the challenges, the myths, the lies, the struggle of being in the beginning and being in the middle. So I am nowhere near the end. I'm nowhere near perfection. And that it does not qualify me. So you being at the beginning or the middle and just working to help people who are a couple steps behind you because you still remember what it's like to be on that step, that is so important. There are a bunch of people a couple steps behind you that wish that you would hold space and time for them. They wish they knew that somebody could help them. They need you right where you're at. You do not need to be perfect in any area. You don't have to be the lifelong expert. You don't have to be the person who did all of the things perfectly right the first time, so you never had to learn from failure. There has to be a level of authenticity and empathy in your coaching that I think they're far more valuable than perfection, but two, I, as a client, don't want to work with a coach who has no authenticity, and definitely I don't want to work with somebody who has no empathy for where I'm at, because either one, they forgot what it's like to be where I'm at, or two, they don't care, or three, they're so focused on where they are that there's a judgment about where I'm at. Like, I don't want that. My clients don't want that from me. Your clients don't want it from you. So I understand that there's a pressure kind of to have it all together before you start talking, before you share an offer, before you help anybody. But honestly, the pressure of that, it's unrealistic, it's unnecessary, but also it's a place within you. It's coming from the soul that is judging yourself and saying you're not enough, or you're too much in this way, or nobody wants that. So you have to do some coaching for yourself, for your own soul, and get your mind into a place where you can just say, I'm taking imperfect action. I'm just going to do this thing. That's how we all got to where we are in anything. We just started moving. If you're an all or nothing person and you have that kind of, I would say all or nothing can get really legalistic. So if it's all or nothing, you will always have nothing, because you can never get to all unless you move from nothing to something. Does that make sense? Nothing has to turn into something before it can be everything. You can't go from all to everything. I'm sorry, you can't go from nothing to everything without taking some baby steps and getting from, like, I'm stopped at point A to I have stopped at point B, the ultimate goal. You have to be able to put your foot on the gas. You have to turn the car on. You have to take the journey. It's so necessary and it's so valuable. And you want this journey, I promise you. The journey is where it's at, friends. So if you feel the need to be an expert at anything, let it be that you're an expert at taking imperfect action, an expert at showing up right here and right now, regardless of how long you've been at it. Or maybe even just saying, hey, I'm an expert over here at the messy middle, and I get what you're going through. I'm an expert at talking through the struggle or holding time and space for your process, the process that I'm still in the middle of. Like, be an expert at those things. You don't have to be an expert as a coach. The goal is to be the person that people know is available to hear, understand, and guide them through their own process. You're not the person that a client comes to wanting to know, how do I do this perfectly? How do I do it without pain or failure? How do I do this and it's all on you? That's not what a coach is. Jesus is the only way, truth, and life. So let him be that and do what's yours to do. Just be available. The goal is not to be the one who's done it all, finished it, and now stands before the rest of the world with proof of how to do it the right way. The goal is to be a human in process with humility, adaptability, and teachability, and then model that to the other people around you. So remember, your role as a coach is to hold space without attachment or judgment for your clients while you seek to inspire them and remind them that they are capable of doing what's in their heart and their mind to do, that they're worth the investment, they're worth the work, they are worth the effort. You can teach and educate through content, like I'm doing right now with this podcast. But remember that right now, I'm not your coach coaching you because you're not in front of me responding. You're growing through education and encouragement through my content on a podcast, okay? But you're not a client right now. You cannot be a coach if you don't have a client in front of you. You need the human element in front of you, and you need to be in a coaching relationship for you to be a coach or a client. The rest of the time, you are teaching, you're encouraging. But as your coach, when I'm actually coaching you, if we're in a relationship and you're my client, I'm still just a girl in process who decided to let you listen in to it all through my content, but who isn't perfect, while I still understand the pressure to be inwardly and outwardly, and one who wants to be there for you if you're on the staircase with me, whether you're a step ahead of me, but you still need somebody who cares about where you're at, or you're 10 steps behind and you're just wanting me to guide you into hope that it's like safe to keep walking upwards, right? So I am literally wanting to encourage you in this, to break down that myth that you have to be perfect, or you have to have it all figured out, or you have to have done something successfully in order to be somebody's coach. And the reality is that coaching is about guiding people to discover answers and solutions with your guidance, and maybe you help them learn, like, what are the options? What are the possibilities? What are different solutions that they could choose that would work for them individually, right? But it's not about being flawless in it. It's about your authentic ability to show up as who you are and the right people choose you. It's about your empathy because you know what it's like to be there, right? Like, authenticity is what builds the trust in a coaching relationship. And the most effective coaches are the ones who can connect with clients on that level of humanity, not by pretending to have been flawless or perfect in the process, but just by being real and showing up as you are. Like, that is where you're going to be the most effective. So if you believe the lie that you have to be perfect to be a coach, I want to remind you that as a coach, you are not given permission to tell people what to do so that they have a formula that always brings them success and never causes them pain. That is not something you have permission to do. That's not a coach. And you don't have permission as a coach to boss people around or tell them the answer and say this is the only way it can be done. That's not even what a coach is called to. That's not the foundation of what we do. So if you're believing this myth, I want to undermine the myth by saying you don't even have permission as a coach to be the picture of perfection in order to qualify yourself. You don't have permission to do that. And therefore, because you don't have permission, you don't have the power. So why would you put it on yourself that it's required? Now it's not even a requirement. Not only do you not have the power and you don't have the permission, but you don't have the requirement. So you don't have to live under the weight of that. And now you can just go be you, show up as you are, love people well, let them know that you are available. You want to help them. And by helping them, it means you're going to hold space and time for them to be in process. And you're really great at helping them talk through things, work through things, plan things, figure things out, see what's possible, and not only be there for accountability, but be there in a relationship that is trusted and safe for them to be in process. You being in process is going to help them feel safe being in process with you. So, my friends, I want you to remember that you are called to coach without the weight or requirement of perfection or having everything figured out. And you are not disqualified if you don't have it all together, because none of us do. And that is not the goal, right? The goal is to move from grace to grace, to work this thing out. And let's do it together. And let's be humble about it. Let's love one another in it. And then just trust that you're putting your foot on the gas. God's in the car with you. And he's going to give you direction. And other people that are supposed to be in the car going with you, he's going to bring them along. And he'll show you when to pull over and pick them up. The right people are on their way to you. The right clients are on their way to you. They want to work with you as a coach. And they are in their own process figuring out, and you are going to start learning how to let people know that you're a great coach for them. You're the right one. And we're going to work through that together. So keep your ears and eyes open for the next episode and the next myth that I'm going to bust and the next lie I'm going to break down and give you truth on. Okay? I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening. For more coaching resources and to learn how to work with me, head to sterlingandstonementoring.com or click the link in the show notes. Remember, walk boldly in your calling, and I'll talk to you next time.